Hello, Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Welcome to 2026. This is your overview. I'm going to be talking about some of the big themes that are going to play out in your year ahead. We're here for about 20 to 30 minutes maximum. Every sign will be different. But the point I want to make is that this is just an overview. I have made a 2+ hour video. Maybe some of them are 2.5 hours long for your sign. And also you can buy every single sign. It's called the bundle. And that's available in my description box below as part of my yearly fundraiser, scholarship funds for my students who can't afford to work with me or study, equipment, staff. It helps the channel grow as well to have the resources to build the channel with support that I need. If you want to keep supporting that, everything's in the description box below to get your 2026 PDF guidebook and longer video. Now, let's talk about Leo. Remember where I was. Okay. Leo, you're coming into one of the most important change cycles ever. Like, not subtle at all. You're going to be in the thick of an eclipse cycle, just as the Aquarians are. So let's start off with the basic thing, because I'm going to show you a thumbnail. Like, I'm going to give you the thumbnail to screenshot. But the reason I really wanted to talk about the fated relationship story on that banner is because it's only every 18 and a half years that you go through a cycle of eclipses in the house of you and a significant other, like a marriage partner, like a committed love story. And so you had this eclipse cycle way back in the day, 2000 and oh my God, the brain, 2008, 2009. And you had the same eclipse cycle further back, like 19. This is what happens when you hit menopause. But anyway, you had it back in 1989 to 1991. You had it in 2008, 2009 with this kind of nodes, right? The south node, north node, south node with you. And so the first thing I'm going to say is, yeah, good luck. Nothing's going to stay the same. Your relationships, fated relationships and fated changes in relationships are foretold by the sky in 2026. So if you're a Leo rising, it's especially true. Sun is changes in your career and connections to relationships, moons, home and home-based matters, and with whom you live. I'm going to show you the thumbnail. Take a screenshot of the thumbnail, and then we'll get into the details. Well, that's not a screenshot of the thumbnail, so let's stop that share and get the thumbnail. Sorry about that. That's what I definitely do when my brain is offline, and it's offline a lot these days. Okay, download. Brain offline. I'm looking for the actual thumbnail that I just downloaded for you. Yes, there we are. 4:12. It's getting dark here in Canada. This is when it gets dark already. Oh no, what did I just do? That's not it. All right, I'll get that thumbnail. All right, she's got it. Now that's not it, but it's coming. Oh my God. Alrighty. I am having a day. Here we have it. All right, at least I'm wearing yellow for the Leos. Fated relationships, lucky breaks, career alignment or realignment, education reset, or educational realignment too. I mean, a lot of you could end up learning something really important this year that you would call an educational moment. All right, so take a look at those major themes. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to now talk about your sign with just my face. Okay. I'm going to see if I can keep us to 20 to 25 minutes. That was my intention for these mini readings. Sorry if some of you guys went long, some of you went not so long. All right. So when your eclipse energy becomes evident to you is after the end of July, which is the egg yolk. So at the end of July, the north and south node will move into the Leo Aquarius axis, meaning into your Leo sign and opposite you, Aquarius. That doesn't mean you don't feel it before then, but it will be the end of July through till the end of 2027 that you're in the pressure cooker of fated destined change in your identity, your relationship to other person, like business partners, clients, audience, love stories, marriage partners, but it also activates your 10th house of career and your 4th house of home. These are angular. So we're going to say that starting like this year with the first eclipse in Aquarius on February 17th, then August 12th, there's an Leo eclipse, the change is beginning to happen. but it's really like the egg white for the February 17th eclipse at 28 degrees of Aquarius, the house of your significant long-term love relationship. It's an intense one. It's going to have a Mars implication. So if you're dating someone or you're like engaged in a relationship of some kind and it's not working and the universe knows it's not working, it'll break it up. I'm sorry, just true. And you'll notice that it may not last because things will get very turbulent near that eclipse. Go about a month before February 2017, add about 2 to 3 months after. If things are like a chop, 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 and it feels really bad, well, it may not end. It may not last. Now, with the North Node of Fate moving through your sign, it's really, I mean, the North Node of Fate moving through the house of other people and the South Node through your sign, there's a lot about your approach to life that is going to ask you, especially after the end of June at 18 months, to release, surrender, and let go of that which isn't yours to hold on to. It could be the home, it could be the career, and it could be the relationship. You're in a releasing, letting go, and surrendering archetype. And if you resist the surrender, you will probably get sick, because that's what happens when the South Node goes through the first house and people don't go with the surrender flow. They tend to end up getting ill. So rather than be ill, go with the surrender plan and let go of the home, the people, the places, the things that aren't yours, a career path that isn't yours to have. Now, when you're in a relationship and the North Node does travel through your marriage house, which is midsummer or July, end of July, add a year and a half, like to the end of 27, this sometimes what happens is the North Node is like, well, you got a gardener and he says that plant's root bound and it's going to die in that pot and you need to replant it into a bigger pot. And so it can expand the relationship into a new form that makes it viable. Sometimes that new form can be weird. It could be like polyamory, or it could be, breaking outside the mold, or it could be, it's starting a family together or moving where you live. So in order to create a new energy for the relationship. So the North Node can do that to try to hold on to the relationship, expand the relationship, grow the relationship, but it can also end that relationship. So the eclipse has got a Mars problem. Mars is involved in the Aquarius eclipse that's coming up on the 28th. That could be your partner going, I'm out of here, I'm done. Or, or you guys are just going to fight and you're going to go, this isn't worth it. Or I don't like this anymore. So something's going on for you guys if you're with someone. Now, if you're single, fated relationships, right? The North Node will be working its magic through your 7th house through to the end of 2027, full on at the end of July, beginning to feel the vibe, January to July. And this could bring a destined fated love partner into your life. Okay. For singletons, that's what it could do. Or if you're married, it could do that too. And that's why you're going to get rid of your partner. But it does bring fated relationships your way. There's no doubt about it. And if you have an audience or marketplace, like because you're a Leo, right? You're going to perform, you're going to share your leadership with the world, then you're going to expand your worldly success and expand your reach and volume up the way you reach out to that marketplace and stuff like that. Donald Trump's a Leo. Sorry if you don't like him. He's a Leo. He's a famous Leo rising. I mean, it could really destabilize his relationship with Melania. That could just be like, okay, finally she gave up the ghost, She's out of here. So we'll see how that looks. The other thing you need to look at, Leo, and I don't know why my chart, because I have the little extra computer here, I'm looking at the sky. The other thing I'd say is that fated relationships, fated changes in relationships, and Jupiter. So let's talk about this. Jupiter moving through your 12th house. Exalting your 12th house started to happen last summer in June and finishes up this year on June the 30th. This is a wonderful transit for getting an expansion of a desire to educate yourself, to go off to college or university or skills-based learning. It opens up doors of educational opportunity still in the first 6 months, especially after March 11th, when Jupiter goes direct through to June 30th. It's great to apply for universities, colleges, and schools. It's great for any kind of desire to learn or study something. It can take you traveling abroad to foreign lands or far off lands and having some adventures. Again, this is most best operative March 11th to June 30th because we want Jupiter direct. He's retrograde until March 11th, meaning if you're going to travel to far off lands and shores, you've been there before. It's some place that you've traveled before. And then with Jupiter in your 12th house, the other thing I think you might go through with this is a spiritual awakening, finding a spiritual path, a spiritual teacher, a spiritual practice of some kind, and you have that Jupiter support to do that all the way through. As I said, that spiritual life can really amplify for you, and you have his support to help you do that with Saturn and the North Node in Pisces in your 8th house of moksha liberation. So you have a big kind of pile up around a potential spiritual opening, a spiritual awakening. Some of you might find a guru or a teacher to help you, or teaching, or a body of knowledge, but it does open up a lot of spiritual energy, especially when Jupiter's direct, but all through the first half of the year. Okay. So for those of you pursuing a spiritual or meditative or a spiritual awakening path, this is going to be positive. You have a potential with the North Node and Jupiter in the 12th of acquiring money through inheritances, spousal support, or marital separation agreements during this first 6 months of the year as well. Now, that was the education part. We also talked about the fated relationships and all of that. Ow. Yeah. I thought I got my shoulder all better. And now I don't know if it's better or not. But then there's one more thing to talk about here. And I'm just going to, because this is Lori, and Lori never remembers what she puts on her thumbnails. Lucky breaks and career alignment. Okay. Lucky breaks and career alignment. All right. Well, let's talk career first. Okay. Career alignment. Why? Because on the 3rd week of June to mid-September, Chiron, for the first time in 80 years, 49 years, is going to enter your 10th house. Now, 10th house is the career and reputation zone of the sky. And when he's here, he will be saying, I'm the key to purpose. I want you to align your talents and gifts that you were born with your career. And you might even want to move into chironic careers like teaching, healing, guiding, shamanism, but it just means you want to align with your career path. And it's because it's his first ingress, and I'll be doing a whole video for all signs on this coming up this year. It's going to be that 3rd week of June to the middle of September where you really start to feel this impulse to align your career and work with some deeper meaning and purpose. And it's doubled down, fortified by Saturn entering your 9th house, which is a house of meaning, dharma, and purpose as well. Saturn heads there on February 14th and will be there for 3 years. So some of you definitely start to feel the impulse to not only re-educate if you want, especially with Saturn. It could be a 3 years, 2-year program. Some of you might go back to school, but you also will feel a strong call and really feel like, I don't know how to describe it, like an itch you got to scratch, like the end of June through the middle of September, that work and career must become aligned with purpose. Now, Chiron can be a teacher, a guide, and a healer, or a coach or something in your career sector that's giving you guidance or support or information to align you with that career path. But on the other hand, it's just the beginning of a longer story that's going to go several years, about 8-9 years, to get you to focus in that direction, right? You can't have a frivolous career. You're looking for a deeply meaningful career, aligned with your original medicine, the gifts and talents you're here to offer the world, because you've been healing your own chironic wounds and you know what you've got to give, and you know what's going to be aligned with your natural talents and gifts, and you want to express it in a purposeful, meaningful way. Even if you're retired, it's what are you doing when you're retired? Like, what do people see you doing? That's how you're going to want to align in that 10th house of career stories. And it's an interesting year to see that happening, knowing that Venus is going to do her cosmic reset button that partially goes through your 3rd and 4th house this fall. And that 4th house reset button, 24th of October, activates the axis of career. And so it's 4th house, 10th house, private life, public life. So we can see that you're going to germinate a new career direction and maybe even a new place to live, right? That's in the fall at a year, but there's a new story emerging for you guys, you Leos, and it's not enough to have a job or have money. You're looking for meaning and purpose in career to become aligned, right? That's an alignment energy you're looking to have, career alignment. And with the cosmic reset button of Mars, Venus, and the Sun triple conjunction in your 6th house of work and service that happens in early January and unfolds a new story for Venus's Venus says, I'm going to unfold a new career story for you. I'm going to hit a reset button in January. I'm going to give you evidence mid-February that you're going in a new career direction. Mars is agreeing, and he says, I'll give you more evidence mid-March. And it's going to take you in an exalted new career direction that's going to also have to have purpose and meaning. And I want you to go back and look at 1994, 95, because that was the last time you were living through that energy, but without Chiron in the 10th house. You might have tried to realign your career or change your job or found a new livelihood or something in 94, 95. That was the Mars-Venus conjunction in your 6th house. But there was no chironic support in the 10th. So this is different. All right, this is not the same. It's got other things going on. All right, so that's exciting. And I think that a lot of you will find that career alignment as well. Lucky breaks, Uranus is moving into your, drumroll please, he's moving into your 11th house on April 26th. Well, Jupiter moves into Leo, the sign of you. Leo sun, career, Leo moon, home, Leo rising, your whole character. Jupiter brings you luck. You are going to be lucky for a year. How long are you going to be lucky? June 30th until July of 2027. So this June 30th to July, you're going to get lucky. Now you could get pregnant because he rules your make a baby house. So be careful. And he makes you girthier because your belly's expanding, or because he rules children, you could be pregnant, or your partner could be pregnant, or you could end up, putting on weight or getting chubbier, or maybe putting on muscle. So when Jupiter's here, the end of June out a year, you could put on a little girth. But on the other hand, he's protecting you and he's blessing you and he's giving you expansion, growth, prosperity, wealth, and luck. Hope, faith, and optimism. Right? It's all good. And when he's moving through there in your Leonine sky, starting on June the 30th out a year, he's also with that south node that says let go and surrender. Jupiter is giving the south node a kind of a bonification. He's calming it down. So the south node can sometimes flush the toilet, and there goes everything. You lost your home, your family, your religion, But no, this is Jupiter saying, we got it. We're wise. We're good. We're true. We're going to let go, surrender, and release things in our life that we don't need, that relationship, that home, that career. We're going to bring something new in. And Jupiter says, and I'll help. I'll make it good. I'll make it lucky, but I'll always give you what you need, not what you want. Right? That's Jupiter. He will look at the marriage house. What that doesn't mean it blesses the marriage house. If you're single, Jupiter's transit through your first house for Leo rising especially can bring you a new relationship, especially with the North Node in your 7th house. So that's great. If you want a new relationship, look no further than Jupiter's transit through your first house. But in an existing relationship, Jupiter is still saying, I give you what you need, not what you want. And you're seeing your partnership through the lens of Jupiter, through the lens of leadership and Leo, goodness and truth and wisdom. You're seeing the world through Jupiter's eyeballs, while you're also releasing, surrendering, and letting go thanks to the south node. So if you have a health problem, for example, Jupiter will fix it, or he will help, remedy the problem. If you are struggling not to let go of that career because you're really holding on tight like this, Jupiter will give you an easy way to release it. So I've used Donald Trump as an example. Why not? It's possible that June 30th out a year, he has to step away from power. Maybe he's not well physically, right? Maybe he's not doing well with his health. And Jupiter helps him find an easy out, to go out with a good vibe. And with Jupiter's movement through Leo, people will see you as more leaderful, right? So if you are wanting to be in charge, or you want people to see you as that leaderful energy, and you will be more generous and more magnanimous with people, but people will look up to you a little bit like the king of Mount Olympus. So there's a vibe that you can take on challenges in your life, understanding that you look good to other people. There's a vibe. If it's Jupiter's sun, like your sun's in Leo and Jupiter's crossing your sun, it's going to be great, good stuff in your career, but also really good fortune and luck for your dad. Jupiter moving over your moon, your Leo moon's good luck for your mama and good things for mother, and also really good for beautiful new homes, larger homes, expansive homes. And Jupiter moving through your first house, of course, you get to be the king, you get to be expanded, you get to be bigger than life. So it's a really good time to take some risks in life, to do some things that you really want to accomplish, and and maybe just not worry so much about it. So Uranus can bring you windfalls. Well, Jupiter can bring you luck, and that energy is going to be playing out. You're going to need Uranus over there. So April 26th, and then you go April 26th, and then in June 30th, Jupiter catches up into Leo. So June 30th to the end of the year, and into the first 6 months of next year, 27, you could come into some lucky breaks with money, some kind of windfalls or pennies from heaven or something like that. And just feel like the universe granted you, all your wishes and dreams unexpectedly and suddenly. That feels like a lucky windfall. It doesn't have to be money. It could be the windfall you got, the perfect job, or your partner's family gave you all their money or something like that, and a big event like a trust event, a trust fund or something. Yeah, I'm going to go with that. A very few of you will see the windfall as the passing of an elder in your family. Saturn will be moving through your 8th house. That can be a grandparent, for example, sometimes just a very elderly parent. And because Jupiter rules legacy wealth in your chart, I apologize. I'm on the wrong sign. Never mind about that. You could get into some inheritance money. I shouldn't say it's not possible, but that expires at the end of July. So there's a potential for some inheritance money coming through your 8th house, a North Node stuff, and Saturn, an elder, through to the end of July. And if nobody is giving you inheritance money by the end of July, then you're probably not getting any inheritance money. I want the nodes to still be, fusing the 8th house. All right. And that's what I've got for you. I hope that's useful. And I'm drawing 2 cards for every sign. I meant to draw yours before I started. Let me go get the card deck is over on my sofa. So hang on. All right. What's your message? Networker. Oh, I love this for Leos because you know why? You're going to have Uranus on April 26th moving into your networking house, the 11th house, with electric currents of excitement and change. So friends, allies, benefactors, social groups, electric currents of change. So starting April 26th to the end of the year, you can be a great networker. You can enhance unity through the sharing of information. You can engender social awareness and empathy, social awareness, social movements. That's very much what goes on in the 11th house, but you can be much better at networking. And then on the dark side of the networker archetype, from Carolyn Miss's Archetypes book, you can convey information only for personal gain and spread fear and falsehood. I don't see you guys doing that, but I can see Donald Trump doing that. Sorry, I'm not political, really. I'm Canadian, but nonetheless. Now, I'm drawing one more card for you. This is from the deck I made myself called the Awakened Dreamer Oracle. And I made this deck. This is all me like pasting and cutting myself. I made this deck from photos submitted by a bunch of people. And I created this deck way back in like 2016 or 17. And then some woman wrote a book called the Awakened Dreamer Oracle and had a deck with it through Llewellyn. And I actually wrote to the publisher, you just took the blog, it's there. It's all like, it's all in print. And my brand is the Awakened Dreamer. And I was really pissed off. I have a blog called the Awakened Dreamer Oracle. I'm like, what the hell? What the fucking hell? And it really bothers me because still to this day, I mean, I don't even know what to say. Okay, so I'm not focused. Hang on a sec. What is the Oracle card for you that I made for my deck? I just felt angel love. All right. Now I'm going to take it literally because you've got the transits through the house of committed love. That maybe there is a possibility here, right? That there's something trying to happen with romance. And when I think of angels, I think of things that are good. Whether it's an angelic ending of a difficult relationship with a beautiful white feather, or an angelic vibe as you meet a destined soulmate in the next year or year and a half. So that's your story. I'm going with the love story being a big story for Leos. Believe me, if there's a toxic relationship you're in right now before we get to this first eclipse in Aquarius on February 28th, that thing's going to be blasted out of the water. That's going to be torpedoed out of the Aquarian water-bearing air sign. All right. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Find me on Substack, Unplugged, about world events. Find me in Patreon to learn and teach and have Zoom meetings with me. Find me on my join button here for also controversial content that I can't post on my main channel and more. You can see what the membership options are, including live streams. Have a really, really great 26, guys. See you on the next one.